everybody. Welcome back to Life Uncorked. I'm Mel Greenberg.
And I'm Karen Glasser. We're glad you're here. Time to cheers.
Time for cheers. Hope you have had a fabulous January. I can't believe it's almost over. The days fly by. Um, we have had a great run this month. It's been
We
wonderful.
we have, and we've been having a lot of fun introducing you to some of the phenomenal people in our community, our network. Really, they're just doing extraordinary things. They're clearly not boring, and you and I decided we don't want to be boring too.
Right. And I actually came across an article a while ago in the Wall Street Journal on this very subject, and it really struck a chord with me that we get to this stage in our lives, and a lot of times the reason we feel lost is because we're not doing anything new, because we are, whatever it is, we're set in our ways, if you will. And there's that saying, when you get older, you're not going to change, you're set in your ways. And the way to get past that is to commit to doing things and experiencing things that are completely new. And you kind of, I want to think I never stop learning and I've never stopped being open, but you do kind of get on that hamster wheel of just doing what we did and we are who we are. And this presented the idea that we don't have to settle for that.
We don't. We don't. Um, we were talking before we started doing the show today how I actually think I'm boring these days, and I'm going to have to like up my game because for the past how many years I've been sitting in my house not going out. And now that we want to go out, we don't have a clue as to what we're supposed to be doing. I don't know, Mikey, what do you want to do? I don't know, Karen, what do you want to do? And
Right.
it's that whole idea of we literally now have to decide how we're going to live this amazing life moving forward and not being boring, for God's sake.
Well, I find too that I catch myself thinking it's too much. I don't have the bandwidth. I can't learn this. I don't want to learn. I don't want to take on something new because it's going to stress me out. And I'm really happy. I have a beautiful life, and that's a good thing. But by the same token, you need to keep working that muscle. Our brains are muscles, and we need to keep exercising them. And that comes with really challenging yourself to learn new things. Karen, have you thought about what that might look like for you?
I
You say
have
you really
actually.
want to step outside your house, if you will.
Outside my now that I'm gonna so we I already started when we started doing girls trips. I that's to me is not being boring, is leaving my house, going somewhere really fun and doing it with girlfriends and doing something like that. That's like on my list for next year.
Well, you're off to a good start because I got to share that with you, and we did have a really good time on our trip to
And I
Napa.
can't wait to do it again. I
I
mean,
know.
truly, I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
Why stop at one, right? A friend of mine was telling me all about these women who come together in their RVs and they like hundreds and hundreds of them. I'm not going to do that. And it sounded cool, but not for me.
Yeah.
And they all gather together in their RVs, just a bunch of women. And just they're just being women and being themselves and exploring and not being scared, not being scared.
That's scared is a big word. And I think that that's at the heart of my kicking my heels or digging them in, not to try new things, because I find myself a little more apprehensive with each year
Mhm.
to try new things. And it really becomes more of a challenge. Like I'm getting to the point where I'm really happy here. I'll just hang out at my house with my horses and my dogs and cook and take care of my family, and that's all good. And it's not really good. It's not enough. But I have really struggled with that. And I don't know if it started with COVID a little bit, the vulnerability and you kind of don't know what's going to happen. You get a little more nervous about being out there.
Right.
But you don't, it doesn't even have to involve traveling. It has to involve just pushing yourself beyond limits
Agreed.
and not giving up on doing that.
So what is something that you're going to do not to be boring next year?
Well, one thing I really want to, and they're all kind of tied together. I made a little list, but I would like to study French cooking.
Mm.
Obviously, I think I'm pretty good at most cooking, and Italian comes naturally, but I would really like to study and learn French cooking. The cuisine is fabulous, and there's such an art to the way that the French prepare their meals and embrace their cuisine that I would really like to study that.
And you're going to invite me, right? and cook for
Absolutely.
me.
And you bring
And
the wine.
I'll bring the wine, and you're going to cook. We'll bring French wine and do that.
Yeah,
We actually, when we were putting our list together of things that we want, we're going to not be boring next year. We actually had something in common. We both said gardening, and for
we did.
me, that's a huge word for me. I always like to say I have brown thumb, which is not fair because I shouldn't really say that. That's negative thinking. I don't really have a brown thumb. Maybe it's like a yellow thumb. It's
Like
not quite
olive,
green.
olive, olive
Well,
color.
yeah, I mean, like I'm killing plants left and right outside. But
That's not that hard to do in the climates we live in. I mean,
yeah,
give yourself some grace.
okay, I'll give but I want to plant flowers and I want to plant color in my backyard. So that is gardening. Now, you're of course much bigger than that. You're what, master organic?
I want to master organic gardening. And by that, I don't want to become a master. I just want to master the process because I want to have my property more sustainable and get my
Yeah,
vegetables and my fruits from my home.
I
So I
love
really,
that.
and there's an art to it,
Yeah,
obviously, and there's a big learning curve and it's a little daunting. So I
there
know I'm
is.
going to need some help, but I'm going to do it.
I love that. One of the things that I jumped into a little bit last year, and I'm really have jumped into it this year, and that's art. I'm a Zentangler. I love
Mhm.
doing it's a pencil kind of drawing, and you do these, it's very fine art, and you sit there and you focus. And for me, that's great, gets me out of my head. I'm going to
Yeah.
do more of that. And I have a whole art like it's not a gallery, I've got an art center with drawers of pens, and I have to use it, but they're sitting there. So that's the first step, right? Of not
Mhm.
being, I'm going to do more art. And so that's one of the things I'm going to do. What about you?
I'm a voracious reader. I want to read more memoirs. I don't tend to read a lot of them, and I have read a few this past year, and there's so many fascinating stories of good and not so good people through our history that I want to read, add memoirs to my list.
I okay, so one of the things that we talked about in one of the previous shows, I think it was 2 weeks ago, was about your ethical will, and
Mhm.
and I had talked about my family, that they used to do these reunions all the time and then they just stopped. So one this year, I am coordinating a family reunion for all
That's
for
beautiful.
the whole family. And in the past we did it on Zoom and online. This is going to
Right.
be an in-person thing. And so
That's a photo that you could add to your ethical will.
that's
Get
true.
a
That's
group
very
photo.
true. I'm excited about that. I'm
That's
really excited.
beautiful.
I
I
feel
love
like
that.
it's my mission. I have to do this. I want to do this. I have to do this. What
Well,
else are
so
you
one
doing?
more thing I want to do that kind of ties into the gardening and probably the French cooking because I'll just wander out to my garden and grab some things to cook for the night is I want to build a chicken coop because I
Of
want
course
to
you
have
do.
my own eggs. And I have a friend who did it. And I mean, she's from Tennessee. She grew up on hundreds of acres in Tennessee and she builds everything in the backyard herself. And I'm thinking I could do that. I don't know how it'll turn out, but I'm going to try. So
I
that'll take
I
some reading and educating myself on something I absolutely have no idea about, and that I think is going to give me a lot to talk about and laugh at myself about because I can just picture myself out there stuck in a chicken coop with chickens crawling all over
all
me.
over the place. So that kind of begs the question, what about you guys? What do you want to do this year? How are you going to step out of what you're doing right now, so that you're not going to be boring in this next stage? What are you going to do? We want to know because
Yeah,
maybe we'll compile a list.
I think that would be great.
Oh, I like that. It's
Because
good.
like your art list, I can't paint, God had a budget and he didn't give me that. But to take on something so creatively and learn something new is beautiful. And I think that other people's ideas will inspire whatever it is. Maybe it's take flute lessons, whatever, whatever you're drawn to.
So I'm thinking that what we'll do is that we want to know what you want to do, and you guys already know we have an Instagram broadcast channel. Let us know that you would like to participate in there as somebody who can write in there. Let us know, and you can put your comments in there to let us know what you're going to do, not to be boring. We will
Absolutely.
compile them all, and we'll put them out as a list. I think
I
that's
love
a
it.
lot of
It's a
fun.
great list. And it can be an ever-growing list.
Yeah,
So keep adding to it. Because we're
I
not boring. New things
because
keep
we're not
happening.
boring. We might be tired, but we're not boring.
We're tired. We're
Yeah,
challenged, but we're
we
not
are.
boring. We're
Don't
not boring.
forget, check
Cheers
down
to that.
below in the copy. We have all sorts of links there. We have everything in there. So go check it and we'll see you next month. Oh my God.
Oh my, I
See you
know.
next month.
Thank you so much for starting this new year with us. We hope you enjoyed January. Can't wait to see what we have in store for February. Ciao.